Hey everyone, this week on the Debate Show, we are discussing the big winners and losers of Liverpool's squad throughout pre-season, who came out on top and who needs to do a little bit more to either kickstart their Liverpool career or get back on track. We also discussed Liverpool's biggest rivals, and there was this: do Liverpool have the squad depth to once again compete for the quad? Let's dive in. Steve, your question?
Have we the squad depth? Well, it's Chloe's question, but I robbed it because it's so good. She did my work for me. Have we the depth to challenge with the squad across all four fronts?
So, I'll kick this off with the very brief chat I had with Pep Linders from his mouth. Done. I asked the question, I had to ask it, and now I've got the unfortunate task of having to remember to say Linders instead of Linders, which I've been saying for how many years. He said, did you enjoy last season? Yeah, next season's going to be even better. And that's a season where we got to the final game of every competition we were in and could have won it. Could have come home with the quadruple. I don't see how I just don't think a quadruple is possible. But a quadruple is quite clearly possible because we could have feasibly come home with one. Yes, I think we do. Because I think people are I think Mane's a big loss.
Yeah.
But I think it's a loss that we've offset.
Yeah.
I think we've offset it in other areas of the pitch. I think between Núñez, hopefully more Jota, Diaz, Elliott, Carvalho, and I think the midfield being tasked with scoring more goals anyway. I don't see that we are theoretically weaker. So why not? Chloe?
No.
Oh, fuck off, Chloe.
So sorry, I don't. Sorry. I'll be in my head. Even when we were going for the quad, I believed that, I hoped that we could do it, but realistically, I thought we've got no chance. And the closer you got, the more you thought, Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I just think, and I think the World Cup's massive in this, you've got so many fixtures now just being squished together even more. It was already ridiculous, and now you've got even more squished before the World Cup. And maybe the World Cup helps us if a lot of players don't go, but Trent, if he comes back with a little knock or even is just shattered, I'm fearing if he's not in our squad, because I think he offers so much for us. And I just think, if it was easy, you'd see it done pretty much every single season. And I know City have done a couple of, they've won the treble and stuff, and they've got fairly deep in all competitions, but they've had bigger squad depth than Liverpool, in my opinion, whilst they've been doing that. They've got £50 million right backs who then just substitute for another £50 million. It's outrageous. Liverpool don't have that, and Liverpool do have Joe Gomez, who can do your job, 100%. But I just think, how many seasons in the FA Cup and League Cup have we gone out and we've not really been arsed? And last year it was actually we've sort of gone on a little run here, and it was a bit unexpected. It was a bit like there was that running joke of Jurgen Klopp just can't be arsed playing another game, and then we went on to win it anyway. I just think it was already extreme. I don't think I can emotionally go through it again if we end up not losing, if we end up not winning the ones. And it's also a case of, I absolutely loved last season. I loved the way it played out. But would I take a Premier League or a Champions League over winning both of them? 1,000,000%. Because that's the one I want.
Sorry to interrupt what is an absolutely thrilling show, but I'm going to bring you a clip from another thrilling show. It's me head-to-head with Adam McCullough over on the Last Fan Standing show on the Bet Victor YouTube channel. Check it out.
I think City win the league.
Do you think Haaland's going to do it?
I think Haaland.
He looks clumsy.
I don't want to say it. I'm not sure.
Looks a bit clumsy.
So does Núñez. So does Núñez at times. And Núñez will still score goals. I'm not saying he's not, but I think there's been. If you look at the changes to City, yes, they've made changes. Jesus wasn't really first choice though, so he'll affect what's coming off the bench. I think you're going to get more goals out of Grealish this season. You're going to get more goals out of those kind of players. If they let Bernardo go, I think that could be a huge miss, and maybe that will change possibly how things run for them. But I think City will be okay. And look, if there's a drop-off with City, and as we're suggesting there could be with the loss of Sterling and Jesus, you could possibly say the same about Liverpool losing Mane. I think that's a huge, huge shift, and it's not going to be always perfect for the new front three, whatever that turns out being. So I do think there's as much change at Liverpool as there is City in kind of the key areas or the key positions, because Jesus weren't starting. Zinchenko, he was starting sometimes, but they're going to sign another left back. So if Bernardo Silva goes, maybe I change my mind on this one, but I think City.
Yep, head over there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Back me up. If you just say mate sent me, or Redmen sent me, or just McCole as a knob, do whatever you got to do. But yeah, leave a nice reasoned debate comment if you want to. And I am on that show pretty much every week this season, so do subscribe, and I will see you over there. Back to the debate. You need to look, it's not about your squad depth. You need squad depth. But it's not exclusively about your squad depth. You've got to get the right draws in those competitions.
Yes.
If Liverpool get a better team earlier on in either of the domestic cups, there's a chance we just don't go through. And it's because people have this notion of Jurgen disrespecting the cups. For a start, everyone disrespects the cups.
Yeah.
None of the top teams put their best 11 out in the early rounds of the League Cup and of the FA Cup, unless you have to. And even then, there'll be concessions made, particularly when you get to January and everyone's normally knackered. And January's going to be a completely different kettle of fish this time around because we're coming off the back of the World Cup and whatever. Yeah. So we don't know what that looks like as well. So maybe we can go stronger because there's been a bunch of lads who've probably had a warm weather training break in Dubai or whatever, while a handful of our players have been running around in Qatar. So it's possible, but we saw it. If you get Chelsea in the fourth round of the FA Cup, you could just go out. Whereas if we can continue to get Championship, League One, League Two teams up until the point where you think, oh, go ahead, we will have a little bit more of a go at this.
Wasn't Nottingham Forest our semi-final in the FA Cup?
You know what? We've played that many games of football, Chloe.
I think it was anyway.
We had a Manchester City style run to the final, didn't we?
It was Arsenal before.
We played City in the semi-final.
City in the semi, yeah.
It's played City in the semi. Sorry, yeah. So even your quarter final was only Nottingham Forest.
Exactly.
So
because you think the year we won the league, we had Chelsea fifth round in that, and we put a pretty good side out, if not 100%. So that's the one they do the same. They've got Billy Gilmore in midfield for that one, and they come out on top on the day. I mean, actually, there's a couple of errors and that which cost us and whatever, but
it's not realistic. It's we can dream about it, and if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. That's the thing. If we did go on all four fronts, I would not be surprised. But emotionally, what that must have took out of them last season, physically as well, to go again and then to miss out on the two big ones, it is a case of we want them even more next season. So what does that mean for the other cups? Because I think it must have been Wolves or something years ago, and I think Lucas Leiva was playing, and we were at home and we went out and it was near the first round or something, and that's just what we've done in the cups. And I think Jurgen's not going to change his way of playing with the players he's going to put out.
I brought a similar point to a debate show 6-7 months ago, and I said, what will it take for Jurgen Klopp to be revered alongside Bob Paisley in the history of Liverpool managers? And we collectively agreed that he'd need to win domestic trophies because we have a history of doing that. Mm-hmm. Well, he's answered that question now, and he's put to bed the disrespect thing, and you're quite right, everybody waters down their team early on in the competition. I always come back to the thinking, end of the season, we went into a Champions League final, we were tired. You could see we were tired. There were question marks over whether Thiago should even play, is he or isn't he type of thing. How much would we have left in the tank if we went back to the tried and tested, flood it with kids and fringe players? And our leading scorer from the competitions now plays for Monaco.
Well, yes.
So we've changed how we do things in the squad a little bit. Do we go back to actually let's go for the bread and butter, the big two that you speak about that we really, really want? Because last season was a rush. It was a ride. We had a great time, but we all sit here with a heavy heart because we missed out on the two we really, really wanted. Yeah. How deep has that gone? Like Chloe says, how deep has that gone into the club?
My thinking on this is what might stand between us and that is a good run, but also you kind of allude to it. It's replacing Taki Minamino and Divock Origi's goals because the lion's share of them come in the domestic cups. and they drag us through. And their squad role was to make sure that Mo Salah, Diogo Jota, Sadio Mane didn't have to play in those games. So they don't have to go to Preston, and they don't have to go to Norwich again, and they don't have to go to, you know what I mean, to go to all, you know, the slew of other clubs and play in those games. You know, your Cardiff as an example. Is someone going to step up and do that and it not be to the detriment? Because I agree, because I think the argument a little bit of Liverpool ran out of steam because of the domestic cups doesn't quite hold weight because of how little game time most of our senior lads got in them, albeit not putting either of the finals to bed. Early doors doesn't help us, because by the time we got to extra time, particularly in the FA Cup final, there was nothing. I had nothing left, and I was just in the stands. You know, we were all ruined by that point of the season. But is the we did this video last week about the depth Liverpool have got. Can Harvey Elliott? Harvey Elliott becomes a mainstay in those cup competitions. That's Harvey Elliott's team. That's Fabio Carvalho's team. That's James Milner's team. That's, you know,
Joe Gomez.
Maybe Gomez, you know, probably certainly Kanate or Matip sound. Kelleher's team, Shimikas's team, Bobby Firmino's team, and then you get who's in rotation in the front line. You know, again, is it Diogo Jota in at that point? Because if you're telling me, you look at, let's say we put an 11 out, and you've got Kelleher, Shimikas, Gomez, Kanate, either Milner or Calvin Ramsey right back again. We really know how good he is at this point. You've got a midfield three of, if Milner's then able to play in there, Milner or Bajcetic is a DM. You're looking at potentially Naby or Kurt as left midfield, Harvey as the right midfield.
Ox if he gets back.
Ox if he's back in there, and then a front three of, let's say, Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino and Kate Gordon, or maybe you push Harvey Elliott up and you put Naby on the right in midfield, etc. There's obviously going to be a little bit of crossover here. Is that a good enough 11 to get you to the business end?
Do you know what you've just done? You've just persuaded me there to think slightly differently about that. That's a strong team, and that should go deep into all of the competitions, shouldn't it?
It should, but who's to say that Luke Chambers doesn't get a game? Because why not? Because Tsimikas, Robertson can't play every Premier League game as it is, and Tsimikas has proved he is good enough. So if Robertson has a dip in form for whatever reason, Tsimikas is now your main man. And you know, there's a lot of Jurgen Klopp will give the youngsters a chance. I know. So Naby Keita, who's to say he's fit at that time, and if he is fit, who's to say that he's not even being in the rotation of midfielders? We've got 5 subs. Think about how many of those players are going to be playing week in, week out, being substitute. And even if it's only 20 minutes twice a week on top of training, and maybe obviously the physicality of the Premier League, the Champions League, whatever, it can be a lot. Little knocks can happen here and there. I think it's a case of he'll give the youngsters a chance as well. And for me, it's just, if it was that easy, we'd have done it before. But
it's not. This is the point. Someone would have done it as well. Yeah. It's just that thing of I think 5 subs plus the squad, and it's just that the unknowns. So looking at it from last season, Sadio Mane, 51 appearances for Liverpool. That's 46 starts across all comps. You're replacing that, but you're also replacing the 23 goals that he scores, because that's immediately a hole in your offering from last season to this. I would expect, like, Luis Diaz only makes 26 appearances. That's only 18 starts. So you could legit, even if you just doubled what he does, you're entering into, you know, you've halved your deficit potentially already. He only gets 6 goals, but he actually gets more assists than Sadio Mane as well. So there's a chance that even if you double that, you're still not making a huge dent in the goals coming from him. But loosely speaking, someone else is scoring goals because he's maybe setting more up along the way. You've got to replace the 10 goals from Taki. You've got to replace the 6 from Divock Origi and a handful of assists in the midst of that. Can you get maybe a little bit more out of Jota? Possibly. 21 goals last season, 6 assists.
If he's fit, yeah.
Maybe. Maybe, yeah. I don't think it's a huge stretch, but it depends how quickly he comes back to form.
Even if he matched it,
it's a decent place to start. What we just don't know is where those other goals are going to come from. Can Salah score more than 31 in all comps? Hey, it's entirely possible. You know, he's had a summer off again, which saw him be the best player in the world when he had a summer off last summer and a full pre-season. He's also going to have a mid-season break and a mid-season, if you will, in terms of like getting himself back up and running. So I would expect, barring unforeseen circumstances, you'll get a full. Both halves of the season will be peak Mohamed Salah, so you could potentially get a 40-goal season out of Salah. I don't think that's a wild shout. It's whether the midfield can chip in goals. Can Carvalho chip in 5 to 10? Can Elliott do the same? Can Kurt do the same? Could Thiago or Hendo or Naby start to contribute to that? Can Trent score more goals? I think he's got more goals in him. I appreciate these are a lot of unknowns. To answer the question, I don't see that I think if we had the squad to win it last season, I think we've still got the squad to win it this season. But that doesn't mean we will, because it's basically impossible to win a quadruple.
Yeah, 100%.
150 years, and we're the closest anyone's ever got.
Yeah.
Once in all those years, you said before.
Yeah. One final point on this is Liverpool are very good at putting wrongs right.
Yeah.
And I say this, I do not wish to place any expectation on this, because that's just foolhardy. It's just going to lead to people being more upset for no reason on things, because we'll start with the stance of it is impossible to win a quadruple. However, Liverpool have come as close as anyone before, and they were knackered doing it. The muscle memory of doing that before, when we finished second on 97 points and won the Champions League, and people went, well, what can you do better? Liverpool got 99 points the next season and had the league won in January.
Yeah.
You know, what I would say is don't stop believing. It is possible, albeit it is as unlikely as it has ever been. But it might not be. It might be slightly more achievable given a couple of things around it.
Yeah, I think definitely, like, once again, wouldn't be surprised if come February we win in the Carabao Cup final, come the end of the season we're in the FA Cup, Champions League, and we're running for the title. It wouldn't surprise me, because that's the mentality we've got. And you know, you mentioned, I'm going to say Pep Linders because I like it better, so sorry to Pep. But
do you call it Genie Wijnaldum as well?
Genie Wijnaldum, that one I feel like I got it correct. I feel like this squad has the mentality to go again and to say to themselves, we were so close last time, go again, see what we can do, and push themselves. These players push themselves more than anyone else, but realistically you only need one domino really to fall, and the rest falls with it. No one's going to expect you to try and win the quad again. That's exactly. A one-time thing. What they will expect is you to go far in the Champions League and the Premier League and challenge City, because that's what we've been doing for 4 or 5 years now.
If we'd got across the line in the Premier League, I think we'd have won the Champions League as well.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
It was what it was. Look, I think it's what would be interesting to see is the mentality of the management, and having now done the domestic cups, do they go, what was the point, or they saw the point? The point was still hundreds of thousands of people turned out on the streets of Liverpool to celebrate that team. I don't think you can afford to be sniffy at trophies, because you're right. Liverpool should be trying to win every trophy they enter into, because we've got the squad. We have got players capable of doing it. We've got a phenomenal young talent coming up underneath it. You can fall short, but it doesn't mean you don't try. I think we'll try as much as we tried last season.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it will be circumstantial when it boils down to it. I think we all would swap the trophies we won last season for the other trophies, sure. But would you swap those trophies for no trophies? Because that's still possible. Live in we're in the Man City era of football, where they're just as capable of going and winning a quad as we are, because they've got the players and the squad and all the kind of and the management and the tactics and all that kind of stuff. So we can't afford to turn our noses up at any particular trophy along the way. I like the fact that the Community Shield is bagged, and it goes away in some dusty cupboard for 9 months, and next time I want to see that thing is on a bus parade in May or June or whatever the hell the season finishes this time around, alongside another trophy, another 2 trophies, and that's when that's what I want from this season.
What I would say about the FA Cup and League Cup is you've also got to look at it financially. It brings absolutely nothing in. It's like stupid money. And you can get over 100 million for winning the Champions League. I think each round of the Champions League is like 6 million bagged, which is more than it is to even win the final of one of them. And football, sadly, is all about business now. So they will also look at that from a financial point of view, but it won't be.
In how Liverpool's constructed, this team is constructed, they understand the importance and the hunger that winning trophies is like having a packet of crisps when you're hungry. It doesn't sate you, it makes you hungry for more, and that's what I think that we're seeing with this, and that's why Liverpool went so hard on the Community Shield. And actually we still took Trent off in that game, and we still took Henderson off in that game. We still made more changes than we would probably have done. We probably would do when we play City in the league, or if we played them in the Champions League. But you could see how much those players wanted to win that, and I don't think the players know how to behave differently. What will be interesting to see when it comes to the FA Cup games now, having done it and having lifted it and gone to Wembley and won, do they go, I fancy doing that again this year? And that's the things that
you can't suppress a winning mentality, can you? That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for checking that out. If you want to watch the full debate show and the debate show every single week, it is over on Redmen Plus. Head to redmenplus.com. Join us there. There's a whole host of extra shows and podcasts each and every week. We've got Around the League. We've got Journo Insight with Neil Jones. There's going to be stats from Chris Pajak, a final word after every single game, an instant match reaction in the hour after the games themselves, and loads more documentaries, features and interviews. Perfect time to join up is right now, redmenplus.com.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want even more Redmen content in your lives, do go and check out Redmen Plus, our subscription service. All the content is available both in video and podcast form. We've got 2 tiers of subscriptions. We've got Club Captains, which get you all the content, and we've got the Club Legend tier as well, which gets you that content plus loads and loads of brilliant added bonuses, such as free merchandise. So head on over to redmenplus.com now.